Hello everyone and welcome to the Smashi Business Show. Today is Thursday, January 15, 2026. They said the new year will start, but it's already been 15 days. One half of a month has gone, and I'm Abdul Majid Awan, your host for the Smashi Business Show. Today, the headlines are very interesting. They're very detailed stories that we're going to go through. First of all, obviously, UAE is worried about the 25% tariff imposed by Mr. Trump on countries who are trading with Iran. UAE is the second largest trader with Iran. DB World CEO says they are ready to enter Venezuela in 24 hours if cargo opportunities arise. More details on that later. And UAE has become the 9th member of America-led, the US-led Pax Silica. What is it and how this will benefit UAE and other countries, the other 8 countries, a total of 9 countries, we'll discuss that. And finally, we're going to talk about our favorite billionaire, the Dubai billionaire, the founder of Emaar, Mr. Alabbar. And he has once again gone to a panel, gone to a fireside chat, gone to an event and said he's in a hurry, so pardon his mistakes. These are the stories for today, but the very first story, it's a sad story, it's a business story, it's an economic story, it's a cultural shift story, and a lot of people are calling it a regime change story. But the United Arab Emirates has warned that a proposed US tariff on countries doing business with Iran could disrupt its commodities and food supplies. At the same time, the crisis in Iran continues to unfold, with thousands of protesters reportedly killed and a reported near total internet blackout now in its 7th day. The United Arab Emirates, the UAE, is sounding the alarm over a potential ripple effect from the United States' latest Iran sanctions. Washington has announced it will impose an additional 25% tariff on any country that continues to trade with the Islamic Republic. Speaking at a conference in Abu Dhabi, the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week, UAE Minister of Foreign Trade Dr. Thani Al-Ziyudi said the Emirates is Iran's second largest trading partner, with nearly $16 billion of trade done in 2024 as per IMF numbers. Dr. Thani said that the UAE is evaluating the possible impact and, quote unquote, they're one of the main providers and suppliers of many of our commodities, especially when it comes to food products. That's what Dr. Thani said. He continued, we're still doing the analysis and the decision has not been taken, but this is going to have an impact for sure. The UAE imports nearly all of its food products, and Iranian produce is significantly cheaper than supplies from Europe or the United States. Any disruption could therefore not only affect prices and availability in the Emirates, but also place additional strain on Iran's already fragile economy, facing high inflation and a currency crisis. There's a video of Mr. Trump giving the most recent update on the situation in Iran.
In Iran is stopping, and it's stopping. And there's no plan for executions or executions. So I've been told that on good authority. We'll find out about it. I'm sure if it happens, we'll all be very upset, including you will be very upset, but that's just gotten to me some information that the killing has stopped, that the executions have stopped. They're not going to have an execution.
Amid weeks of widespread protests across Iran, initially sparked by worsening economic conditions, which makes it a very big business story for the region, the demonstrations have increasingly targeted the country's ruling regime, reportedly by a lot of media outside and in the West and outside the West. President of the United States, Donald Trump, has warned that the US could take military action against Iran for the killing of protesters. This is the video that we played for you. And he even went on to say that Washington is watching and seeing developments before acting further. Iran's government, however, maintains it is prepared to defend itself with full force and until the last drop of blood if attacked, while President Pezeshkian has called for public demands which want economic prosperity, obviously, to be heard, citing the country's severe economic hardships. In the midst of all this turmoil, prominent voices are also speaking out. Beauty entrepreneur Mona Katan shared a message of solidarity, saying she is holding the people of Iran close in my thoughts and prayers and calling for safety, peace, and the right to shape their own future. She highlighted the struggles of families and children in the country, underscoring the human cost of the ongoing crisis. The United States and UAE are already in trade discussions, particularly over a deal that could ease a 50% tariff on the Emirates' aluminium exports. Analysts say any escalation of sanctions or trade restrictions could have broad consequences, affecting food security in the Gulf, regional economic stability, and global supply chains. For the UAE, a country highly reliant on imports, and for Iran, where the economy is already under pressure, the stakes are high. International attention is now focused not just on the political crisis, but on the humanitarian and economic fallout that could follow in its wake. The situation for us, we are covering it as it goes. It remains fluid. Governments and citizens alike are watching closely as economic, political, and humanitarian pressures continue to intersect across the region. This was the biggest story of the day. We'll keep bringing you updates on our social media channels to stick to that. But there's a very interesting story happening in this part of the world. DP World CEO is keeping a close eye on Venezuela and says it could resume operations within 24 hours if the right cargo opportunities arise. The Dubai-based ports operator, which previously ran Venezuelan terminals at Puerto Cabello, says its decisions are guided by trade flows rather than politics. The chairman, the CEO, Sultan bin Sulayem, told The National that the company knows the market and its team well and is ready to act quickly as the situation evolves. The move comes after the US captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, escalating tensions in Latin America and prompting a tightening of sanctions and blockades on shipping. Analysts have said Venezuela's ports remain strategically important, and DP World's approach highlights how global logistic companies are navigating geopolitical uncertainty to safeguard supply chains. And there's a video, this was a video interview with Manas Kreni of The National, where we see the CEO, the chairman of DP World, talking about this whole fiasco.
You only have to pay for it to make the tankers go.
I am the person who will move cargo. So tomorrow, if there's cargo opportunity in Venezuela, will go. In the past, there was sanction in Venezuela, and we have always been approached by the government to come back.
So Puerto Cabello is where you were present before, up until
Puerto
2000.
Cabello, yeah.
So how easy would it be for you to decide, yes, I'm ready to go with the board and restart serious conversations
We
about being in
can
Venezuela?
start with the 24 hours if we need to. So we know the place very well. The teams, everybody, we know them. But there wasn't business at that time, much business. Now there will be. But we're watching, like everybody else.
Are you having conversations?
We're watching.
DP World, as Mr. Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem said, is already expanding elsewhere in Latin America with operations in Argentina, Brazil, Peru, and Colombia. It's a very good point to note. Investments in Syria's Tartus port are also made by DP World. The UK's London Gateway is also run by DP World. And the UAE's air-to-sea cargo corridors reflect a strategy focused on real trade potentials. The company is also open to opportunities in the US, showing a willingness to act wherever stability and demand converge, positioning itself as a key player in global trade recovery. This whole story can be summarized in one quote by the DP World CEO as he talked to Manas Kreni in this video interview. He said, "We are not an oil company and I am not an oil CEO. I am a company CEO of a trade company. So wherever there is a trade opportunity, DP World will be there." And that was the second story of the day. The third story apparently is about a pact which is trying to manage the supply chain of AI. It's a very interesting story from a lot of perspectives, but the first thing to tell you about it is that UAE has become the 9th member of PAC's Silica. Let's easily call it a Silicon Pact. And the US-led framework secures the supply chains behind artificial intelligence, from advanced semiconductors and energy to connectivity, and this is the most important part, critical minerals. The move cements the UAE status as a trusted partner, which already it was in the US technology ecosystem, and underscores Washington's growing reliance on a small group of aligned nations to power the next phase of AI-driven growth. By joining PAC Silica alongside the US, UK, Japan, South Korea, Israel, Singapore, Australia, and Qatar, the UAE strengthens its position as a global hub for AI, advanced manufacturing, and digital infrastructure while deepening strategic tech ties with the US. India is also expecting to join next, becoming the 10th country, and there's also early discussions underway with one of the giants of the Middle East, Saudi Arabia. This signals that Pax Silica's expanding role in shaping the future of AI supply chains. And before we move on to the next story, I would like to tell people who are on our comments that you can join us live on the show. Send us your comment, we'll reply to it. I will reply to it live on the show. But the fourth story is, to be honest, the most interesting story of the day. Mr. Mohammed Alabbar, the Emaar founder, the CEO of Emaar, the chairman of Emaar, the face of Emaar, he heads Noon, which is one of the best short express delivery service if you're in the UAE. He has shared another candid reflection on leadership and criticism at the Dubai International Project Management Forum 2026. The Emirati entrepreneur emphasized that his greatest strength lies in building strong, talented teams, although he doesn't like meetings and is very against marketing and branding. But for nearly 2 decades, Alabbar has been at the forefront of global real estate, driving landmark projects that have shaped Dubai's skyline and positioned the city as a hub for premium living. As we always say on the show, the rise of Dubai is also synonymous to the rise of Emaar and Mr. Alabbar. Yet, he was open about his own shortcomings. At the Project Management Forum, he said, "I am in a hurry to get things done. It's in my DNA." And he acknowledged that his fast-paced approach can lead to mistakes. Alabbar also struck a conciliatory tone. He said, "My apologies. I am a human after all, and I make mistakes." And he also highlighted the human side of leadership, that making mistakes is not a problem. Actually, just sticking to them is. And the idea is that find solutions if you commit a mistake, or is there a problem. He also shared his admiration for urban experiences in cities like Florence and London, drawing inspiration for Dubai's ongoing growth. He was recently at the 1 billion follower summit, also very interesting chat where he said that going public was his biggest mistake, but then he went on and combined it with the statement that only men can carry out an IPO and stick to it. He also gave a very interesting analogy at the 1 billion follower summit about going public. He was like, every 3 months, every 90 days, I strip bare and I stand in front of the people telling them, oh, this is my EBITDA, this is my profit, this is my revenue, this is what I made for my shareholders, this is what I didn't do for my shareholders. So very interesting person. We'll see a lot of him in the coming days because there's a lot of events that are coming up. At the end of this month, on January 31 and 1st Feb, there's the Sharjah Entrepreneurship Forum where media partners will give you all the updates from the venue, from our booth. If you're visiting it, you can come to our booth, say hi. Apart from that, we'll be in Qatar also, in Doha, and we'll be covering the Web Summit, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 Feb. 1st Feb is usually an opening ceremony in the evening, but 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of Feb, we'll be there. We'll have a booth there as well. If you guys are in Qatar and listening from Qatar, you can come and say hi. Apart from that, there's a lot happening in Feb before Ramadan, and there's a lot of things planned after Ramadan also. So if you want any updates from the world of business, from the world of tech, from the world of AI, startups, whatever, wherever there is money involved, wherever there is business involved, Smashi Business is there. Or if we're not there, we'll cover it on our socials. So stay tuned for everything from the world of Middle Eastern, Arab world. And we have a very interesting tagline for Smashi, which is for the driven dreamers doers. If you're a driven dreamer doer, and if you want us to cover your stories, your startup stories, our inboxes all across all channels are always open. Send us your news. We'll cover it. We'll try to cover it. So that's a wrap for today. Thank you for tuning into the Smashi Business Show. Make sure to follow us across all social media channels. Whatever is your poison, we are there. And you can just write Smashi Business. And there's a newsletter that goes out every day from our side. If you want it in your inbox, 6:30 a.m. every morning with the biggest news from the world, you can subscribe to it. You'll find the subscription link in the description. This has been a Smashi Business Show, a Smashi Business production, part of the Augustus Media Podcast Network. A big shout out to more than 2 million monthly listeners across all platforms. You guys make this possible. Jeffrey Wokonga has commented before we're ending the show. I'll just read it quickly. considering how vast AI developments are rising globally, how flexible is the UAE to compete on a global scale? UAE is one of the largest players in the AI race right now. We have a fund which is called MGX. It's started with a $2 billion investment from the government. Right now, it's handling $100 billion of assets under management, if you want to know the number. So that's just in 1.5 years. We have Presight, which is a near equivalent of one of the biggest projects in the world when it comes to data for AI. We're building the largest data center in the UAE, which is called Stargate UAE. It's the largest data center network outside of the US. Stargate is a US project, but their UAE version is happening in Abu Dhabi. The ground has been broken. If you pass that point, you will see construction happening. It goes live this year. In the mid of the year, they're planning to open 500 megawatts. OpenAI will be the first tenant. So if you're asking me how big UAE is in terms of AI, or how big or how fluid they are, they're spending billions of dollars, not millions, on this. So I hope I answered your question, but that's it for the show. If you want to join us tomorrow, I will have Vard with me to discuss all the latest findings. Thank you so much. Have a great day and see you on Friday.